Okay, well, it's just like it's the same time like as yesterday. It's like 10 after 6. I just looked. And today it's still rainy and cold. It's been cold though to me. Like probably if you're out somewhere right in the sun where there's no trees around, it was probably hot in the sun. But I don't know, the weather's just weird. It's really weird over here by us. And I just can't believe how long some of this stuff drags out. Like you think like, oh, something's about to happen. And then it's just slow, slow. But then you listen to the people talking. It's like, oh my God, so weird. So, yeah, and I'll tell you, it's going hard on Gypsy. I could see that coming. It was like, that is so weird how they elevated her. Like, where, what? And now, so much is coming out. Like, it's somebody got it out there. The crime scene photos that has really blown some people where they're like, it's like, what did I say? Or what did I hear? Well, because it used to be Donald, or there was other people who said it, but I know I heard Donald say it a lot of times, was you can't tell them, you have to show them. And so, yeah, all these people are like thinking that she's the greatest and poor girl. And then stuff starts coming out like about the crime scene. She was 23 when she did it. It's like you had no other choice. She couldn't leave home. And she was being investigated with her mom in a fraud thing that she didn't even know. So she's doing in her partner and doesn't even know that she's being watched. The whole thing is so bizarre. And how she was able to get out and make money off of her crime when that's supposed to be something that's not. But then she gets all these people who I'm assuming they're all a bunch of people who feel abused. They're all the victims in the world. It's just like, oh, we got our victim trophy here. Let's elevate her. She's the greatest. Oh, we all want to do the same thing to our moms. It's like, it's so fucking weird. But I guess the crime scene photos have really knocked some people for a loop. They're like, hey, yeah, nobody deserves that. I don't care how abusive you are. That's bad. I guess I haven't seen them. I just keep seeing people say it's devastating. You don't want to look. It's like horrible. But I guess it's almost completely separated with all the, and then the people are like, there's no way one person did that. And there's the guy who was in on it with her, and all the story that she told him, and then what his family is saying too. Because he's like this simple guy with some issues, and so her lying and saying she was pregnant and her mom wouldn't let her go, she couldn't love it, whatever, all that stuff to get him to do that. And then he said he only had like 7 times or something, but there was like, I don't know, 28 of them. I mean, how could you even hate someone that much to do that? I just don't understand. Like, to me, I can understand fighting for your life and having to, somebody attacks you and you're fighting for your life and you're just, whatever you got to do when it's like down to that. But to just go and, just do somebody in just because. There's another horrible one of these family ones that just happened. And what is really sick with this guy is, now they're going over his history. Well, he was sexually abused. This is what got me when I was a kid. How much they tried to tell us, like, if you're sexually abused, you're lost in the world. Like, you're going to be out abusing other people. Like, all the stuff that they told us that we were going to be. It freaked me out. Like, I thought, what, do we lose our minds? Do we not be able to control ourselves? Like, what happens? Is that what happened with this other person? Like, it's very strange. But anyway, so they're doing that on the news, he was abused, and so it turned him into a mass murderer. And so it was like his child's birthday, like his 6-year-old or something. So he doesn't his wife, like they celebrate the birthday or something, then doesn't his wife, their 2 kids, like a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old or something. They may have 3 kids, but then the 2 cousins too. The 2 cousins that were there for the birthday. Oh, well, they're gone too. It's like, oh my God. You can just see in our society how, people have got to be more self-regulated. And we can't have a society where there's so much people going around in pain. Like, pain is a motivation for all of this stuff. Oh, and also there's all this stuff coming out like in Venezuela. So there's no crime going on there now because everybody's over here. But it's not just here. This was, I saw this person and they were in Amsterdam and they were talking about that the majority of the population now is illegal people. And another little side note on this thing is how many videos I see all the time of people saying, I just want to leave America. I just want to go somewhere else. Okay, so all these other people who just want to leave their place and go somewhere else, they're not right. They don't have the right to go to other places, but we do. Like, these are all things people have to stop and think, because then when you stop and think, you're like, yeah, why we should all be able to go where the fuck we want to go. Like, what the fuck is going on with them telling us we can't? But we shouldn't divide over it. Like, well, we can go, but they can't. They're taking our space. It's like, I already said, let's just swap. Now there's no crime over there. They got pretty, I think Venezuela, I mean, if it's real beat down, I think it could become beautiful again. All these different places were beautiful at one time, but they started taking things. Man, there's this lady, a whistleblower on North Korea. I first thought she was talking about China, but dang, like this is, I swear to God, Oriental people were, I know Black people think that they were so abused and stuff, but I swear to God, Oriental people are like the beta testing of all this stuff they do to us. They are used as lab rats. And, where people think like, they're smarter than us and they do this stuff. It's like, there's so much control and stuff. So this lady was talking about, like, it's so bizarre. Like, you have to, I don't even know how to explain it. So I'm sure I'm not going to say it right because it's so, I don't understand it. So they have a problem with power or fuel or something. And so they make the people, like, your poop is, has a value to them. So like these families, everybody who takes anything or something, you have to give back this huge amount of poop. Like, you have to. So it's created poop thieves. Like, people go around stealing people's poop. And she said, because we don't get very much food, your whole day is spent like trying to figure out like if you're going to eat, when you're going to eat, what you're going to eat. And she said, and so many people don't get to eat, and don't, everybody's like lacking food. So there isn't a lot of poop. People don't poop very much. And she said that, and then you have to give them your poop. And then you have to give like one family of 4, like, is expected at the end of the year. Like, you're supposed to store this shit. Store this shit. Is a ton of poop. And then the government probably fucking just Soylent Greens that shit. It's like they just feed us back our own waste and stuff, like dead people, dead dog, like all this stuff is so. So anyway, she's on some podcasts and stuff. If you can watch her and stuff. But over in all these places, there's just so much control. Just like that one I said I saw. They have them all living in these high rises where, when you can't afford the multiple $1,000s or whatever to have a room, then you just live in a cage in the hall, a dog cage. People pay to live in dog cages in halls. It's like, that's what I have said. Like, they want our space to get smaller and smaller and smaller, total control, to where you got to get your poop and take it back to the government. And, you know, in this sci-fi weirdo world that they're trying to take us in, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, because I was just watching this movie. I didn't see it all. It just popped on, and it was still going for a while. It had, let me think of his name. I just saw him in another ad thing that went by yesterday, so I just saw his name. I think he's British, and he's an actor. But it was this sci-fi movie, and it was supposed to be after this event. I think it was like an apocalyptic event or something. And they said everything was poison, the air and stuff. And so they made all the people go in and live in these centers. And then on this one part, though, where he goes in and he's peeing in the toilet comes up and registers and tells him what he needs and what he doesn't need and stuff. I was like, that is the kind of stuff like that they would, you know, test your poop and see if you had eaten anything that wasn't authorized or something. And then you would be arrested. Like, that's the kind of world they want to take us into. In this movie, and I'm sure I've seen it before. It kind of reminds me of the Clone movie or something. But they do this lottery so that you can, some name is going to my head. This lottery so that you get to go to this island. Oh, yeah, Scarlett, isn't her name Scarlett Johansson? She's in it because she got picked to go to the lottery thing. You're not allowed to interact or be in relationships or something. You're not allowed to talk too much, I don't think. And then you do this lottery, and then you get to go to this island. But I think the island isn't what they think. I think that's the same kind of thing as like in that Clone movie, where they have all the clones, you know, isolated, and they're teaching them, and the clones don't know that they are just they're just used for parts for the other people, which now there's a whole bunch going on too, with all these people leaving the country and going and getting surgeries in Turkey especially, but there's other ones too, and they're coming home with only one kidney. And then they said that it's $50K is what one is worth. So, and you still got to ask yourself, what is this big high dollar value on these things? Like, what is it? Like, is it just because of food? You know, it's weird. Like, I don't know. Well, I'm sure we'll find out more about some of this stuff, but it's still weird. But they totally want to take us into this world of total control. And they are already doing it in some places, you know, more than they do it here. It's like, take a small place and see like what they need to do so they can do it on a bigger scale. So, I don't know. Those people, you know, the way they're just so cut off from each other. Like they, you know, they're just focused on where they got to go. It's like they're all under mind control. Like somebody gets hurt or killed right in front of them, they just walk over them. I just saw this video, which was outrageous, and I went in and looked in the comments, and everybody felt the same outrage. But it is so over the top. What is wrong with people at this point? So this woman, so this is a person in a parking lot in a car filming this woman who was fighting, apparently two guys. One guy's in her driver's seat, one guy's trying to yank her out, and she's trying to get in her car and push them out. She's fighting and screaming for help. And this person just sits in the car and films it. I was like, okay. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they want us to be like. And so, I mean, it's kind of scary when you see that it's like there's some people like that. Like, how in the world? Man, I don't know. Is it in you or not in you? I just think about when I was a teenager, and I had this one friend, Kayla Kelly, and she was the one who was really into makeup, and I felt like she was also being sexually abused by somebody. I don't know, she never talked about it or anything, but I could just pick up on there was something, and it seemed like maybe it was like her older brother or maybe his friend or something. I'm not sure, but something. And so she became like hypersexualized, and she wanted to go out all the time. And so we would, my nose is running. This fucking weather. It was fucking, God, I went through a lot of weather systems in the past week or so. Um, so she wanted to sneak out all the time. We snuck out all the time. I went and did all, like, we hitchhiked, we'd sneak out at night. And I always liked to go over to Brady Dillard's house. And he was a teenager. I think he graduated already had, but see, I think she knew some older kids or something because of her brother. I'm not sure. It's weird how, like, when you go around as a kid, you don't, like, know all this stuff. You just go around, like, just go around and do stuff. So, but I like to go to Brady Dillard's house because he had a little house out back from the house. So kind of like my little guest house thing. I don't know what his was. It was probably a garage that was turned into a little room. But so we had this cool room outside, and it was like having a living room or something. And I think he even had a bedroom off of it or something. But anyways, it was like he had his own little house. And so people would go over there. So if you went over at night, they would all be sitting around listening to Led Zeppelin and passing a bong around. It was just totally chill. Nobody's even talking. Guys will sit there and play air guitar and stuff. And everybody's just sitting there chilling and smoking and just doing nothing. And I liked going over and sitting around with them. They never did anything or anything. There was one boy who I really liked named Brian, Brian something. And then he did try something one time. I think he knew I liked him. But then I started telling him about my dad. I start talking about sexual abuse to him. And so I was like, oh, okay, bye. I tried telling people all the time. Nobody would listen. So, anyways, but so we would get into trouble, but not really, because it was like nobody knew we were out. And so we would just go and do stuff. And then, so she had got a boyfriend, and I don't know how she met this fella. He seemed way older than us. He seemed like he was like 30. He had facial hair. He looked like a criminal. Like he 100% looked like a criminal, and he was. He was out of jail. And so I have no idea how she met him. And then she brings me to introduce me to his friend or something, who was just a normal guy who was only 19, who ended up being my boyfriend for a long time. But I was like 15. And these guys were out of jail, but I mean, out of school. And I don't know Robert Bolt's deal. I just remember it was like, he looked so much older and he acted just different. And then I heard him one night as we were over there, and I was in my boyfriend's room, and I heard all this commotion out there in the living room or the kitchen or something. And so I jump up. I was trying to make me just like, oh, ignore it or something. I jump up and go running out there, and he has her down on the ground, kicking her. She's all huddled over in a corner, and he's kicking her and hitting her and stuff. I fucking, hell no. I don't care if I'm some small, scrawny girl. I will fuck, no. So I start going fucking crazy on that. I can't see people getting hurt and just passively sit there. I don't understand that. I don't understand these people who sit in cars and film people like that. It's such a, what was that I said a while back? I was, this voyeuristic society that is just, and I swear to God, that is the whole fucking thing with the porn and stuff too. Everything is just voyeuristic. I don't know. Our society is so sick. It's so warped. But, I mean, we can do better. But everybody who's got this sickness inside them has to heal it. They have to reprogram themselves, because it's like this is no way to live and to be cut off from each other, to not be there for each other. And even with that guy, like whatever his issue was, why he was in jail at a young age and why he was out and so angry and stuff, like this is what we have going on. And there's no telling. His dad probably beat the snot out of him. Like how, like she was just a little scrawny kid too. And he goes out there and starts doing that. God, and she was like, I don't know, she always just had kind of a pitiful thing about her. Like, oh no, there's so many people out there that are just lost. And I'm sure to a lot of people, I probably seem lost. Probably to Brian. He's like, what? Yeah, this poor lost girl, get away, get away. There was like so many of us have gone around just being like, just lost. Like, we don't even know what the hell is going on here. And so it's not, where we need to turn on the people who are lost. We just need to show the world, everybody, that we can do better. So, like this lady who was talking about in Amsterdam with all these immigrants have taken over, and then she's going through and saying all the numbers in all these different countries and how all of the people are becoming outnumbered. And they are, um, one of them was a tribe too, and how the immigrants now are the majority. And this is what they have always done. This is how they even built America. This is what they do, is this flood one group with another group. That's what they did when they came here, which is just really mind-blowing too, as they tried to say like they discovered America when really they just came in and took it away from some other people. But it's the same kind of thing, flood them and then make them the minority. And this woman was talking about that they are flooding these Dutch countries with these Middle Eastern people so that they are making the white people the minority and being taken over by the other ones. But see, they've done it in different ways before, where they've taken the white people to go. They just create this division, but how we throw it all, make it not be effective is how we don't let it affect them. And we come together for the good. And we have to recognize that the people who are in these places, this is their homeland or their culture or whatever. We don't go in and start trying to take over. Like that's a big problem even in America, where people are getting so pissed. Like I guess Tennessee is having a big issue because all these Californians have moved to Tennessee, and the Tennessee people are mad. Well, I remember when that happened in Washington State. It was in Spokane. All of a sudden, all these Californians were moving up there, and people were mad. Like, if you had California plates on, just figure you were going to get harassed. If you parked, you can get something on your car. It was the same thing that has happened. But the thing is when these people go to other places, they can't just go in and take over. They've got to, it's more like you need to acclimate to the place that's there, not try and change it into the place that you just left. So, that is, I don't know, that's just something that people all have to start having more respect. I just had this, let me think how it started. Because I said something yesterday on religion. Because religion is so absurd. I just can't even get over how all these people... Oh, because there's so much talk, too, with this stuff with the Paris thing. And they're trying to, like, I don't know, there's a surfer who had Jesus on his surfboard. And then they say he can't surf on that surfboard because they're saying, like, it doesn't match everybody else's or something. And there's I don't know, or some people who have dropped out of it or something because of some of the stuff that they're doing or saying, because they're definitely, they're taking big moves to move us into this certain culture that they want. And like I was saying yesterday, that these big moves are uh, more like the White House turning the heat up so that we wake up, because how slow everything was going, we just would keep going along with it. Like when you get, to this point, you look back on the towers and you just think like, and look at all the fucking bullshit that they did with the airport, like how they just took over more control over our lives, which right now seems like such an absurd time to travel. I can't even believe the fucking nightmares I keep seeing on the traveling thing. And my daughter is going to go, she's going to go do one of these turnaround flights and take my granddaughter to some place to get some treatment that is clear across the country from us. Like, this is so fucking stressful to me. It's like, God damn, there's like, I don't want people to think like, because they sit here and talk about it like this is just so simple, so easy. No, this is very difficult. It's difficult for all of us. Like all day yesterday, Stella was so fucking sick and she's still having a hard time today. And like this stuff is very, very stressful, like for all of us, just because I'm sitting here talking about and trying to help people to get through it and see different things, it doesn't mean it's not stressful. It's not hard. This is hard as shit. And that is why I really push to, have time for reflection where you sit and with yourself, but you're never with just yourself, and the more that you can realize that, the more communication that you can have, but the more that that can help you work your way through all this stuff going on, because this is it's lots of bad stuff, man. That thing with the desert lockdown thing, where it is so fucking absurd. Because for one thing, how they're saying it started was this big old 18-wheeler was carrying all these lithium batteries, driving through the desert. Just all of a sudden, all the lithium batteries started exploding in the truck, started the truck on fire. So they had to close down the road. And for 24 hours, it was still closed down. There were still people out there, no food, no. And they're saying like they need some kind of emergency help. I don't know if they're doing anything at this point, because they've got all these people who have run out of gas. There's gas stations run out of gas. Like they've got a giant disaster out there. That's what this traveling thing like is. What was it? Another, I swear to God, I saw another one. But that is the thing, is like every time I go on the road, when I know about these things going on, it's like, fuck, they can do this to any of us. Anywhere we go, this is their control that they take over us. And then I haven't heard a lot on the storms. There's lots of people like watching these strange weather patterns. There's a strange cloud formation or some kind of strange formation that was right up at the border, right over above me, kind of over to the right some. And it's like this orange cloud thing. It was like right by Canada and America. And now it's moved down. Like it's made like a wind tunnel thing that's going down towards the south. So I don't know, there's so much, because even when you go out like out here and you look up at the sky and you see the clouds, you can see them being moved with frequency. So all these different things, and it's all to affect us. And then we get hit, like I can hear it, we get hit with these loud frequency things. And there's a X-class flare coming today, and there keeps being these. There's all sorts of weird footage and stuff that people are getting of the sun, where it's clearly looks like some kind of a mechanical thing. And and that, like, I don't know, it just seems like there's more than one sun. And it seems like, because there's all these different realities, that there's different suns and moons. Like it's almost like there's a bunch of Truman shows or something. Like it's not just one giant Truman show, it's a whole bunch of Truman shows. So it's like it's weird because it's like all these different, okay, so it's like all these different theaters. Okay, because like how I've said before, how it's like multiplex theater where all these different realities occurring. And but see, that is how they want to keep us under this umbrella of control. That's why they want to keep us in this multiplex theater instead of us all just being out here living our realities. But see, it's going to change because all the things that they tried to use to imprison us are all falling apart. What's trippy to me too is like when you talk to some people and then it's like they want to just go back to how things were. It's like if you really knew what things were going on, you wouldn't want to feel that way. But to think like nothing's going to happen and we're just going to just keep going and circling back to how things were, like that we're just stuck in this time loop. I was like, no, this is the ending of something. This is the ending of a whole big something. It's like the multiplex theater is burning down and all of the theaters inside. Well, some of them are going to get torched too, but we're going to, rebuild all these different little theaters in, because now I'm seeing like a drive-in theater. I really miss drive-in theaters, but that was more of a, like, I've never understood why they took those away. It never made sense to me. That was so fun, and I can't imagine it still not being filled up with teenagers on the weekends if there was drive-in theaters anywhere, because that's what we did. All the teenagers, all the schools would go to the drive-in theater, and then we'd all get out of our cars, walk around, talking. It was so fun, and then plus it's like, well, nowadays, yeah, you'd probably have like fights and stuff, but that's at the show where our society is gone. But it's not just the whole group, it's certain people. But the people that keep going so dark, it's because they are lost in the dark. It's not like, I mean, they're all people who, like this guy who just annihilated his family. It's, they're all just abused people who are in pain and they don't know what to do with their pain and they're just as lost in this world as everybody else. And it all has to do with this disconnect on your connection to who you really are. And so that is, to me, is like the lights coming on, is like you are being plugged into yourself. And when you plug into yourself, if you haven't been in states of reflection and working on yourself, you're not going to like what you see because you have only seen a part of yourself, the part of you that you want to look at. Oh, yeah, because so this Paris thing, like it's got the fucking Christians jacked up, man. They're jacked up on the rapture and what is the other thing? The rapture and I can't think of it. It just came in my mind. But anyways, they're all jacked up on this, the return of Jesus coming to, show everybody who's boss. And so with all of the, the different thing with these horses, there's all the trumpets out. Like there's all sorts of footage you can look up with the weird sounds people are having, the weird lightning, where it's obviously not lightning. They're fighting up in the skies. And these plasmic, like, it's like this unsettling or something. And this, it's like, it's like when you're making a fire thing and it starts sparking or something. It's like this changing of energy. And so that is more of what's going on in the sky. It's not lightning, but these weird sounds and stuff, really weird sounds. Man, some of these videos are so weird of sounds because it doesn't just sound like trumpets. This one sounded like some kind of a toy or a machine or something. Like they're all strange. So I don't know, what all the things, like, sometimes it feels like it's going to be, lights are going to go out and come on, and then we're going to see like these generators that are sitting around to keep this whole world, the lights on or something. Like, it's all so fucking fake, and we all think it's so real, but something's going to show us that it's not, and it's going to show us that it's not, and also that's like plugging us in. And I don't know if it's going to be confirmation. I don't know if it's going to be like this big plug-in event where everybody's just all of a sudden plugged in and sees the truth. And that was going with what that woman was saying too. Like, I keep seeing this same thing, is this like lights coming on. But when the lights come on, it's going to be like, oh, cool. But wait, and then you're going to start facing yourself, like you're going to start being rushed with things you've said, how you looked at it, why because some of these people are just very attacking. Like, it's one thing for me to go out and, just say what I believe and put it out here. That's me speaking my truth and believing in myself and putting myself out there, making myself vulnerable and, speaking up what I believe. And so that's very triggering to Christians. And so, oh yeah, so it was yesterday was this, all these people saying, like the electricity's gone out because of their drag queen show and their satanic ritual beginning, which there's a whole creepy thing on the Smurfs. Like, that's the whole creepy thing. And I really liked the Smurfs too. I had a whole Smurf village for my kids. I really loved that cartoon. I was like, oh, these people are so fucking evil. So the people are all, outraged, drag queens and stuff. It's like, art, comedy, all these things can be outrageous if you let them. You can grab your pearls and be shocked by everything, or you can just, listen and, you don't have to agree with something. You don't have to say like, oh yeah, well, I think that's a good idea, but I don't know. You get these weird artist people who you just, you just don't know. It's just like, and then I don't know, this fucking bullshit with, I mean, it's quite obvious what they want to turn us into. And you got Kamala up there saying like, what a great show. Like, this is what America needs to head towards. Well, we've already been headed towards this. Like, pretty soon it's gonna be a crime to claim that you're a gender or something. Like, it's like an absurd world that they were trying to create. But that's because they want us to have no culture, no identity, no gender, nothing. They want us to just be that complacent, that desperate, that we just are their play toys. That we don't like ourselves, believe in ourselves, or anything like that. So anyways, I said, I was sitting outside, and I don't know, something with the videos or something. You see these dogs being just the horrible stuff of the treatment, and then kids and all this horrible shit going on. And so I said something about like, so this God character, I don't know what kind of person or how they think like this is a good guy is what blows my mind. And so they're saying that he reacted, took down the power in Paris because he's so offended by their Last Supper show. And I'm just like, how in the world does that make sense to these people? Like, he doesn't give a shit what you do to animals. He doesn't give a shit what you do to kids. But you fucking do something about this Last Supper thing. Like, he's going to fucking react. And then to me, it's like, okay, so you think that you're going to worship a God who cares more about that than he does about the people. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And in the way that they worship this and the way that they argue about it. So I did this video saying that, basically saying, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then I get all these Christians, of course, that come on to try and explain it to me. Like, I need to get right by God, just like this person who's been coming on here and telling me. It's like they opened the doors and gave these people a megaphone or something. Like they are the ones who need to be telling us. It's like, oh, fuck. And so um, she starts trying to explain to me, like, well, you need to get right with Christ, so then you will understand. And it's like you guys need to understand you're worshiping something they created for you to worship. For you, because you want to keep convincing me that's the real God. The real God is this person. It's like, no, that's somebody y'all worship. And then if you say anything about them, they get so pissed off. That's the one and only true God. And if you're not right with their God, then you're going to hell. And they just feel sorry for you, but they'll pray for you because they're such good people. Even though they don't give a shit about anybody, they just want this guy to take away their problems for them. It's like, it's so fucking absurd. But those things, those are the kinds of things that people are going to see when the lights come on, when you are back connected to yourself, that you are going to see these weak, sniveling sides of yourself that is going to be, it's like independent, like so dependent. Like the religion thing is like, to me, is so, it is going to be one of the hardest things for people to deprogram. It's just, I don't see how. When you talk to any of these people, they are so programmed and they will argue and argue and argue. And they will keep telling you, like, you just don't, you got to get right with God. And then this one woman, she starts telling me, like, well, I don't see why I'm just trying to answer your question that you asked. And I don't understand why you got to give me all this hate. I said, how is it that me disagreeing with you is me hating you? Like, how do you formulate that opinion? Like, so everybody who disagrees with you just hates you. No, they just all hate me. Well, that's what they're also pushing. Get the Christians all like, oh, they're out to get us. They're out to get us. You can do anything but just you can do anything against the Christians and talk about them and stuff like that. So they're all, in this victim mentality. And to me, it just always weirds me out. It's like this thing that you're fighting for isn't the truth. Like, where do you think that there is a God or universe or a creator that is more concerned with their ego than it is their creation? Like, how? I don't get it. And that these people want to keep pushing and pushing and telling you, like, you don't know. I'm an imbecile because I don't believe what they believe. And I'm hateful. And then but you get the same shit with these love and light people. They are so psycho, like with you can't focus on anything real. You can't work on yourself. You can't be around people that bother you because that's low vibration and stuff. It's like, it's low vibration to hold on to that stuff. It's low vibration to hold on to anger and hatred and division. And you're putting energy towards keeping separate from people, whether it's loved ones, family members. Then they've done that. Like, it's still so crazy how they created the TDS, but they've created this whole group of people that are anti-men. And it's so weird. I don't get how it is that people can just follow along with these divisive tactics and never feel it inside of themselves. They feel always justified. Nothing turns on in them and thinks like, oh God, look what I'm doing. I'm just so divisive. Why do I want to hate one group? Why do I? But those things are all going to be like this overwhelming sweep through of change when people start really realizing these things. And I don't know, to me it seems like it's going to be something with religion, because it has to be something to really wake these people up. So maybe it will be, this big thing is going to happen in the sky with spaceships, and that will be the thing that gets the people to be like, oh, wait. And surely it's got to be coming. I mean, it's almost the end of July. We're going into August. Or already talking about, old Cammy picking a running mate. It's like, and where's Joe? Like, he's supposed to be running the country. He's dropped out of the race, but now, I mean, the whole thing is just full of so much absurdity, and all the people just keep grasping on and trying to hold on, and everything is going to fall apart. You got to just stand back and watch it fall apart. You can't just keep trying to fucking, glue it back together, sticking it back together and trying to, keep what was there. What was there was corrupted. It was enslaving us, and it kept us, at our weakest. It kept us at our lowest. So why would we want to do that? It's just like I feel like there's so many people who just don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that there could be better. There's so many people that just hate themselves. They just, it's just like grin and bear it. Just get through my life, and once it's over, I'm out of here. It's like, but that's not how it works. Like, that's what they told you, but that's not how it works. Your soul is like on a long adventure, and every little lifetime has significance, and you either use it to your benefit or you don't. And then I think your life review and stuff, when you don't use it to your benefit, that is where you're disappointed in yourself. There's all these things that lead us back to keep coming back and coming back. Definitely karmic uh, debt is a big one, but that is just where you go and you live your lives and you put things out of balance. What was that one? I just saw a video of somebody, I think I just said something on it. It wasn't a long one of them talking, but the woman, she went and did a past life regression or something. But anyways, she found out the husband that she's married to had killed her in a past life. But that is so common. That's what people don't get. And that's where some of your anger and hostility comes from your inner knowing. Your soul knows, like, you've got serious shit with this person. And it's not just stuff from this life, it is from lifetime after lifetime. And we do get in these patterns of killing each other back and forth because we don't go through and try and heal our anger or our whatever it is. And we carry it from life after life after life. And then it's when you put things out of balance, that's your karmic debt. So you kill your person, then you have to come back and put it back into balance, put things back right. And so that is kind of like what this game is all about, is like you're constantly trying to put things right. And it goes from a long ways back. And that is another thing, is why a lot of people say that more advanced beings won't come down and do these, because they don't want to get caught in these this karmic challenge, where because it kind of traps you into having to put things right all the time. So to me, it's like, do your best of knowing, what you're doing here in the spiritual world, like not be so reactive and think things through and look at things in a deeper perspective. Then you, to me, would be less likely to create more karmic debt for yourself, and you probably are even relieving some of it. And so I think that is a part of like what the ascension is this leaving um these old sides of ourselves, these old ways, these old patterns, and making these changes into, when you're coming at life and you think that there's purpose, it's way different than when you're just coming at it as like you're just a victim. You're just born into this place. You don't even know what you're doing here. Nobody knows what they're doing here, which I also think that's a problem too. When they keep trying to tell people, don't give your kids any identity. It's like, how can people not see that that is an issue? The kids come out looking for an identity, and then you have this whole group of parents that is like, oh, the kid's like, well, what am I? What am I? What am I doing here? The parents are just like, I don't know. You tell me. What are you? What are you doing here? It's like, how is that like a society that makes sense? It's like it seems like it's just more people is lost. So all these people are lost. They don't know what they're doing here. So then they start telling their kids, "You tell us. You tell me. What am I doing here?" It's like, but when the lights come on, that is going to be when people are going to realize their purpose and what they're doing here, and they're here to learn and to grow. And that can be different for everybody. Like, not everybody has to go into, trying to be a spiritual guru. And, we're not going to have the whole world filled with all people who are spiritual gurus. We're going to have it, there's people who that is their drive. And then there's other people who their drive is to be here for experience, to learn and to grow and just to have their experience. Most people are trying hard to have their experience, but it's constantly being disrupted. Especially right now, the world is just under constant disruption and constant confusion. And it's also so weird is like when you talk to people, and there's so many people who have no idea anything's going on. None at all. And they keep thinking everything is like, well, that always happens. There's always volcanoes. There's always tornadoes. Well, there's not like, 100, like 12,000 in a year or something. Like, there's something more going on. And, yeah, and we're going to keep seeing it. We're going to keep seeing more and more of this unsettling. The earth is, the landscape is going to change. It's just, I mean, it's not like I'm coming up with some crazy thing I'm saying. To me, I'm just looking at like, okay, well, this is cycles. This is how it works. Like, there's all this hidden history under the ocean, under the waters. There's even cool things that people are finding of like cities and stuff under the water, streets, all sorts of stuff. So all these hidden worlds that were once where people were, they just is like this it's like this passing the torch to the new world. The other one kind of exits and takes its history with it. And then that's where we're going to start with this new one, this new creation, this new world that we will create. And most of the landscape that will do it will be more fresh. We're not going to have to go in and, tear down high-rise buildings and stuff. Like that stuff is going to be going underwater. And there could be, like in some of the apocalypse movies, they show like some old city that's just overgrown and the people go to it to look for things. There's weird animals in it and stuff. Like there could be some of that kind of thing, but I don't know. It's like I don't know. It just seems like to me, everything is going to go into this more beautiful, beautiful world. And remember, it's like a hologram. Like none of this stuff is real. The only thing that's real is like this snapshot of history. And right now we're letting go of a history. But there's so many people who want to hold on to it. Like they can't imagine anything without it. Like, well, we got to have banks. We got to have this. We got to have jobs. We got to have all this stuff. It's like, no, we don't. Like, why? Why do we need all that? It's so crazy. Some of the talks you can have with some people, like even when you like, when people want to go buy cheap stuff, and then it's like, well, that's part of the problem. When you want to go buy all this cheap stuff, and then but they get all these people in this position where people are broke and don't have any money, so then people need to go buy the cheap stuff. But then we're supporting this slave labor and this whole system that they're creating for us. That's what we got to boycott. We got to boycott their shit. Quit buying their stuff so that they quit making it, and quit trying to sell it to us. So it puts them out of business because they are all corrupted. Even when they took the business, the industry from here where people were making money and, they didn't want us to have businesses and make money. So then they say, well, all these businesses are going to move their stuff over these other countries because it's cheaper labor. It's cheaper labor because you don't have any restriction. You just enslave people. People are desperate, work for a penny all goddamn day. It's like, it's absurd. And then we're just like, okay, well, we want cheap stuff. It's like, no, we really want well-made stuff. I would prefer to have clothes that were made to fit my body than just go spend a bunch of money on clothes that are made to fit someone else's body. It don't fit mine. So I don't, and then, and also, how much more stuff do we need? Like, how many storage buildings do we need to put our stuff in? How many, when do we just say enough is enough? And just what is important? What's important is time and relationships. That's what you're going to be more sad about when somebody leaves and you're sad about, you didn't spend enough time with them. Well, when we're all out just trying to hunt and gather more belongings to put into a, it's so much gluttony that has been created in our society. So much of this, well, if I have this, it'll make me feel better. But it's an endless cycle. You never feel better. And if you do, it's very temporary. So you're chasing that high to try and feel better by getting things and to make yourself feel good. But there's other ways to make yourself feel good that is real. And when you're spending all your time in this artificial consumption, then you aren't putting it into real things. So then when real life is happening and people are dying and stuff, then you become so sad and like, I should have spent more time with them and stuff. But this is why the priorities and stuff is going to change. This is why people are going to make these changes, because these things are happening. And then when they happen, that is going to be the effects where people are going to be like, oh my God, it's, these things are what's changing us. It's what's changing our society. So all these, bad things happening are making a mark on our society, which creates this sense of change because it's a changing of our priorities and how we look at things. So all those things are what is in the process of changing. And also, yesterday when I was thinking about the Paris thing, it was like, there's going to be lots and lots of individual problems in places. So, a lot, like, it may not just be all of the whole world shuts down its electricity, but it's going to still be different places and huge impacts. Because there's a lot of that is already going on. And that's going to keep continuing because it's going to bring down places, like realities are being dismantled and people are having to look at things different. And there's lots of people, like I've seen a lot of Americans who live in France doing videos. And so anyways, but all the different things happening are to awaken us, to make us look at things differently. And that's what I was trying to do too when I say some of the things, is get people to wake up and question things. Wake up and question religion. Don't just be a blind follower. If something is like, why, I just don't understand this worshiping a God that is so divisive. It's like, you say my name or you don't come to my place. It's like, how in the world is that a creator that you want to worship? Like, I just don't understand it. It's just so much, just this blind following. And there's just so much with this hateful, judgmental attitude or way of being for these people. And they're so stuck in their ego, thinking that they know it all. And you say anything to them about, like, well, this God that you worship sounds like a real asshole. And you are blasphemy. You are going against the one and only God. It's like, right there. That shows that there's more than one God. Because this God that you guys have worshipped and elevated is a criminal. Like, I don't know who the hell this guy is that you guys think is so fucking great. You got to say his name and give a shit about people, horrible things happening. As long as you don't say anything bad about him, all's good. It's like, that makes no sense to me. I don't even understand how it gets where people even think that that's a thing. Like, it's so weird. I've thought ever since I was a kid, I don't understand how people don't recognize this stuff themselves. But it's only since, awakening and realizing that all these people are disconnected from themselves. They're disconnected from their souls. And then to know, like, man, that's going to really, it's going to really hit hard for a lot of people when it plugs in, because of people, how they look at things, their choices and stuff like that. So, this is going to, we're still headed to this part. This part is still just like, I feel like it's just steps away. It's just like around the corner. And that is when everything is really going to start changing, is when this pole shift, when everything flips upside down, when everything turns the other direction. And I think it's probably us turning it the other direction, because all of a sudden we see, and hopefully that this thing that's going to happen is going to affect the religious people really hard like that, so that they can see, like, they got you guys worshiping the wrong God. You guys got to wake up. And because that will make a huge impact when all those people wake up, because they've got so many under their spell. And so if that happens, that is going to be a big flipping of the energy. So we just got to see. We got to see how it's all going to play out. It's weird, because it is like, most of the rejects in the world are the ones that are awake. They're like, but I think it's because we were looking at things different. We were seeing things. And these other people, they just don't look at things the same way. But that's the thing with the lights coming on. It's like you're going to be forced to see the things that you have not been looking at, that have been right before you. So there's going to be so much. And to me, it has a real sense of waking up in the lion's mouth. There's going to be a lot of people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I was so close. And I don't remember what country it is. Some country, it seems like it's China or Japan, but they just went and got all these blue tarps and put them on everybody's roof. So then it's like, okay, so is it this thing? Because there was all these people that were having these dreams of something happening in the sky, and the blue light, but the blue is to keep it from the laser thing. And my house is blue. I was thinking about getting some blue tarps or something, but the top of my roof, because I'm so in the forest and stuff, has got a lot of, just looks like the forest floor to me. It's got, what is that, green stuff? It's not mold. It's like the forest is growing on top of my house. And so I was like, well, maybe that wouldn't burn up then, because that was parts they didn't burn. I don't know, because some of these, like, they burn right through the metal, like all these different kind of roofs. So I don't know. Whatever happens is going to happen, and maybe it is like a bunch of us are going to, by all appearances, do these other people die, and we're going to really be moving forward to the next phase. But to them, because they're staying in the old one, that we're all going to seem like we die. I'll really throw a damper in the rapture. All the people that they thought were crazy, all of a sudden they're all gone. And it's like, what the hell what's happening with Jesus? What's he gone crazy? So who knows? I would say everything that's going to be happening is all going to be like unexpected. Didn't go the way we planned. Oh, didn't see that. Because all of it is to get us to see what we don't see things that we don't understand, and get us to all wake up and question things. That's the biggest thing, is to question things. Like, question religion. Like, I don't understand this. Just blind follow. Well, they said. It's like, who cares? I just did a video and I said, so you're telling me that everything in our world is a lie except for religion? Okay, come on, people. And the first comment person is like, I don't even understand what you're saying. Well, because you're not awake. If you're awake, you would understand. Because everything that we've been told is a lie. What we are, where we are, what's going on here. Every single thing that we've been told is a lie. But yet religion, we're gonna just jump on that. Well, it was written, it's the word of God, but through King James. Okay, I'm just like, I just don't. So anyways, all this is gonna just keep going, and there's gonna to me, I don't know, it's like these people are so divisive, but they're so desperate for God. But if you're so desperate for God too, it's like, why are you so desperate for God? What do you need him to do for you? Because this whole existence is so you learn to do stuff for yourself. You learn how to save yourself, to take care of yourself, to know what you want, to know what you need, and to be there for you. That's what you're in this, in this learning about. So, that is that Piscean age, though, of worship and a savior that we're moving out of. And so, anyways, however it all plays out, but it's so crazy when you talk to the people and how stuck they are. And then how, like, I don't know, the media feeds into it. Like, oh, they're out to get the Christians. The Christian, it's like, oh my God, all they want us to do is just like fight over blue or red, fight over the Bible or not the Bible. It's like, oh my God. And just the way, I go say my opinion and then I get jumped on by all these people, these religious people, or the love and light people. So that to me is the fake spiritual and the religious. So I don't know. You just gotta, you know, all it does is show me, where we're still at. We still have all these people who are still so stuck, and so many are just waiting for this rapture to happen. It's like, man, yeah, I just advise you to work on you, to get this work on yourself theory in motion, to save yourself, to figure out what it is that you need. What is it you need saving from? If you need saving because of your shitty attitude, face it. Face your shitty attitude. Find out where it comes from and heal it. Like, where in the world, what in the world universe do you want to have? One where there's one guy up there who's going to take everybody's problems and nobody's going to work on their problems. Nobody's going to fix themselves. They're just going to all hand it over to this guy and say, well, I got problems. I made some mistakes, but here, you take them. I can't deal with it. I'm just done. I'm just done with it. It's like, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, it's all so bizarre. So, but I will be so thankful when all the people are more awake and can see the error of their ways, even though that they're going to be devastated by, that's what the ego is going to do to them. It's going to devastate them. Like, how could they be so stupid? Oh my God, they're going to be so sad and so down on themselves. So we'll still have to go through that whole part, but it still is going to get to a part where, people are more reasonable because they're more healed, but we're going to all get more on the same page. It's not going to be all this dividing. Like, somebody's here to save us. Oh, it's the blue guy. No, it's the red one. Oh, you're an asshole. You're an asshole. It's like, okay, we just all have to put down our swords and our shields and just let it go. And everything's going to happen. Like, this is the universe has got their show going. These people, like white hats or whatever, they're just playing roles. The universe, this is a change in the universe. This is the ending of an age and the beginning of a new one. So this isn't something we just came up with and created. This is Earth cycles. And the universe, has its cycles, and one thing is we got all these other beings out there that are trying to communicate with us and let us know what's going on. So we're not in the dark. But there's so many people who keep themselves in the dark because, oh, that's devils. The devils are talking to you and stuff. It's like, well, then you've got a lot to learn. That's all I'll say. You got a lot to learn if you just think it's all devils out there and that they're out trying to get us and stuff. Like, I don't know. There's such a a minimalistic concept of souls and heavens and stuff in people's minds. And I don't know if it's in their real mind or just in their manipulated mind. But all I'll say is open up your mind. Open it up. Go bigger. See more. Think outside the box. And, that's the only way to get there. Is they'll keep you controlled. They'll keep you going in circles. And then they'll just say weird, random shit and cause confusion, and you just keep going in circles. It's like you got to break the patterns. You got to get out and learn how to live. Learn how to live free. Learn how to be real and be true to yourself. So, anyways, that's a lot of that. So, in our electricity, so it was half our neighborhood went out. There was no storm, nothing. Just all of a sudden went out, and I have no idea what it was. It didn't say, I didn't hear anything about it. It was a car wreck or something that hit into it. It makes no sense. So I think it's just more of their bullshit. But it was out, I don't know, an hour and a half or something. And we went out and went for a walk after, and then when we came back, and it came back on. And I heard somebody out, they were fed up and they were out trying to start their generator. And then it came back on. That happened to me before too. I was out trying to start my generator and it came back on. That's why, to me, it's just like, I'm just going to leave it for a while. It'll come back on. But there will be a point in time where it may not. It may, I mean, we don't know. It may stay off for a long time. It may never come back. We may only come back up on this other system. Because electricity, their power system is going, all their power, everything that they have created was all against us. So was like there was not harmonious living. So we're going into this more harmonious living where it's like this place is more for us instead of working against us. So anyways, that's that. That's what I got to say about it today. So just remember, while you're going through all this, what it's all about, learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody else, learning how to have a happy day, make it every day a happy day, because it's up to you. It just is. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.